into a panic mode, especially when you realize that you are in court and you do not have a lawyer and you don't know how to go about it. But one thing I can certify is that anytime you have a shortcoming of a lawyer and you realize that you don't have anyone to arrest you, always respond to your case, because we always have that opportunity, and I've done that severally, and I've won at least around 9 cases against the government. That's as an individual without a lawyer. So I know it's done, it's doable. It's only that when you are not prepared, it can hold you by a shock. But take courage. Next time, just be composed, be ready, know your case, and whenever you realize that you are disappointed with the lawyers, just appear in person. Let the court know that they need to give you time, and that's the position as at that particular moment. You choose whether you are going to represent yourself or you get another lawyer. That always the court does listen, and that does give you that opportunity to do what is needful, as long as the case has not recurrently repeated or been adjourned severally, more than 3 times, and also it being on your side, because it could have been adjourned more than 3 times, but it's on your opponent's side. Then that does not affect you as well. So thank you so much for.
Josephine, it's okay, but I don't want to overspeak on this matter. But take it from me when I say it was a serious problem. Let's leave it there, because it was a really serious problem, because the conservatory orders are the only things that can preserve JKIA. Adani and the government want to move in yesterday. And the LSK matter is coming for a ruling. And the moment their conservatory orders expire, the country is exposed. And therefore, that was necessary to be done. But I'm saying there was no problem, because it's not that I panicked. It's that I was able to call Kalonzo and Eugene, and they were able to do their work. It's just the misconduct of lawyers. And I don't want to go beyond that, because I published the letters on my timeline of how they behaved. And as Tony has told you, we are going to change our lawyers. Go ahead, Tony, or Mweru.
Yeah, thank you, Josephine, for your contribution. I mean, this is my request for everybody that.
That was my first point. Yeah, I was just saying that it's doable. So thank you so much for the good job. However, again, we need to ask ourselves as Kenyans, if the government is giving out everything to other private sectors to actually own our country and even our parastatals, then why are they collecting taxes from us? So we need to see there are so many loopholes in our country, and there are many things that we need to do. However, I'll be also joining you, Anthony. I will see whether I can manage to do something, and then we'll be joining together also in the same petition. I really appreciate. I'm committed to that, and I'm still working on the document. Once it's ready, I'll also be joining you. Thank you so much, and may God bless you for the good job you are doing for our country. Fellow Kenyans, let's stand up for our nation. Let everybody know that we are getting into shit, and we should not allow this to happen to us. Keep on asking yourself several questions, and what can you do? Do the little that you think you can do. Even that what you think you cannot do, you can do it once it's joined with another idea from another person, and we can all succeed. Wherever there is a will, there is a way. That's what I can say. Otherwise, thank you so much, Tony, and for the good job. We really appreciate. Tell Kalonzo Musyoka and Wamalwa, we really hold them a high esteem for also accepting to take up the matter without preparation. We are really grateful as Kenyans. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Josephine. I mean, that is what I was going to request everybody on the space. Whatever little you can do, please join the team and help us fight for our airport. Even if you have any legal expertise, even if you're good with investigating, you're good with typing, whatever you're good in, analyzing documents, everybody's efforts need to be on board in this. So, I mean, Nelson, if you have something to say, please go ahead. Otherwise, I'll have Marabou, then Nothing, KE, and then Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony, for the work you're doing, and thank you everybody who is involved in this petition. And thanks for hosting the space as well. I just had a few things to say, and I would like also for you guys to add CPM Mwangi to the speakers panel because I wanted him to speak about the PPP Act because there is a controversial thing that is happening to this PPP Act. There is a PPP Act of 2014, 2013, and every act has regulations. So for the PPP Act of 2021, which is being used by the government to, enter into all these PPP projects, does not have PPP regulations. So basically, what is happening is that there was a PPP Act 2021, which was an update of the 2013 one, but there is no regulation to go with it. The regulation has been delayed by design. It was supposed to be signed last year, it wasn't, and then this year it was supposed to be signed but hasn't been signed. Everything is ready, but the regulations are still not signed. So what is happening is that they're illegally using the regulations of 2013, which is illegal and unconstitutional. So maybe this one is something that can be taken up in court. And probably if we look into more details, we can even go as far as tell the court to declare the PPP Act of 2021 unconstitutional so that we can go back to the PPP Act of 2013. And then the second point that I want to say is that we need to go to court so that we can ask the court to remove this. There is 4 ways of public procurement, and one of them is the PIP. So maybe we need to go and discuss in court whether we need to remove this framework from the procurement framework of public procurement because it has too many loopholes. So lawyers in the house, the ball is on your court to check it out. We can gather PPP experts because you have to have some kind of certification to be able to be an expert in PPP, and lawyers, and then we can look at these acts and see how we can file a petition in court to see if we can make this PPP Act of 2021 go away and remove, this nightmare of PIPs from our backs. Thank
so
you.
Nelson, before you go, just stay on. That is very important. What I was going to ask, I think I sent Mweru the amended petition on the Jomo Kenyatta case. And if she could share it just with you and any other lawyer who wants it, because we are asking several constitutional questions. And in fact, why we amended the petition was to include that new directorate or PPP. And I think the petition covers it entirely, but it will be very important for people to look at this petition because first of all, it's a people's petition. Although the plaintiff is Adani and the Treasury, we are seeking certain declarations, constitutional declarations. May it be easier for people to have access to this petition and read it and add or have any comment that they want, including any submissions that can be prepared by way of authorities and other things like that. Because the petition, actually, the more eyes on it, the easier, Nelson.
Yes, this is a very good idea. Yeah, you can make it public for us to be able to access it. And we can work on adding these comments to the petition.
Mweru, do you undertake to get that to Nelson?
Yes, I will. And now that I have Nelson here, just so you know, people who are on the space, in case you're not aware, that he's being sued. He's receiving a lot of lawsuits. So if there's a way you can help support him financially, I don't know how to get the money to him. Please just let's be open to assisting him because, I mean, come on, if it wasn't for him being so bold, and we won't be even having this conversation.
There's another thing that Nelson sent me the other day, which is to always remember to congratulate the workers of the airport. And I want to say that when he's here, that without the Kenya Aviation Workers Union, Moss and the Secretary General, a lot of this success of securing the airport would not have happened.
Yeah, we need to support them. And Mos Ndiema is a very solid guy. What most people do not know is that Uhuru Kenyatta jailed him for 1 week because they were against the Greenfield terminal. So he has salt in the game. And, I was speaking to him and I asked him, have you been paid? Why did you go to State House? So he was a bit mad at me.
So,
but
Nelson, the very good news is that he's now appointed one of Kenya's top lawyers, friend Gatia, is representing the workers, and there are parties in our petition. So, in other words, we are on one side with the workers, and that's great.
Exactly. So he's a solid guy, and he's firmly behind this push to reject Adani.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Mara Box, go ahead, and then we'll have Nothing KE and Daniel. I mean, I have a lot of speaker requests, so let's try to be brief if you can.
Yeah, greetings, Mweru, Tony, and all the members of Point Blank family. Saturday, I think I saw news of our friend Gaeto being arrested. I've not heard anything that has come out of that. So please, in case you have any information on that, please just let us know. Back to the points what Tony made. Tony, I have submitted 2 memorandums this week, the petition on the critical infrastructure, and I also did the one on the protests. The one on the critical infrastructure was easy because I just went to the website for the interior, and they had a questionnaire sort of, and you just had to fill it out. The most interesting thing that I saw there was that you have to leave there your phone number. You could not leave the phone number bit blank, but we just give what we have to give. The one for the interior I'm seeing is not structured, so you can just follow what Okiom Tata did. But apart from that, we're also creating a database whereby we have various sample petitions that you can log into and get them. And I think also Mweru, with your help and having them on your timeline would be very helpful, so that anybody who feels like they want to make a petition, especially to Senate and to the National Assembly, can just get a draft from your timeline and just modify it and change maybe the names, the telephone number, and the ID bit, but have almost the same information, because it has to follow a certain structure. Secondly, I think for the lawyers, they are becoming very, very unpredictable. We have seen LSK take a back. These days, they don't come when people are arrested. It's very hard to see LSK coming. What I heard about what happened to Tony is very unfortunate, because sometimes we depend on these people, not just as lawyers, but also as friends. And if you leave something of national interest like JKIA and you go chasing after the wind because of one person losing an office, it really doesn't make sense unless it really had a lot of money to do with it. And when you talk about money, I've had an issue of over 5 billion spent on regarding impeachment. And I think when lawyers hear money, then they follow the money. And it's very unfortunate that Tony had to really, but also on a lighter note, it's really nice because right now then Kalonzo Musyoka has actually shown himself as the person to go to when we really need him. And let me also take this time to thank Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa for coming through on this time, because when Kenyans call upon leaders, the people who show up are the people we work with. We don't have favorites. We don't choose. So whoever comes to the table.
Maribox, I wanted you to stay on that issue, because on the issue you're raising on the extension of parliament and the interior issues, I wanted us, because if we can give a brief to Kalonzo and those groups, because all you need is a megaphone. We are not in politics. There are no elections at the moment. But the problem is, I know Oki Mtata well, but he's a lone ranger. He does things, and, if they succeed or fail, you don't know until you read it in the newspaper. What I'm saying right now, I can do with this forum, and that's why I'm so excited to see Nelson here, because when Nelson got involved in this, I got involved. And then when I got involved, Eugene got involved. When Eugene got involved, Kalonzo got involved. And the more we are all hands on deck, that is why we've got Ruto on the run. So I'm saying, if we approach the extension of the term and the same way by building a coalition, instead of these, Lone Ranger tactics you've seen even within the Gen Z movement. Marbox?
I understand, and that is exactly why we need wise elders like yourself to really advise, because even if I send my petition to Parliament, how will I know that it was received? I get no acknowledgement. I just see the sent. But if we have this concerted efforts by especially our elders and people who have done this before, and I like it when you bring such an idea. But I would like us to go through.
And remember, Wiper has got about 10 senators. They've got Manzo, who is a lawyer. They have Wambua. Kalonzo has 20 members of parliament. He has got people in the Senate. It's just that we need to... Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, and you also realize that the judiciary has become very defensive. You see what Judge Muilu did the other day. So we also want somebody who the judges can respect. And, Kalonzo, Eugene, and all these people come with that authority, which any courts in Kenya can listen to. So I really, really applaud that idea, and we are going to push on through it. So if we can find a way to push our samples through Mweru, because I don't want to really bombard your DM, Tony, because I'm sure you're a very busy man and we don't want you to be receiving like 100 messages in a day. So we can use Mweru. She can filter what she feels like important in terms of petitions and the samples. And the most important, she sends it to you or maybe Tony. And so that you get what is workable, because also I've seen so many petitions which also fall short of the requirements of Parliament. Lastly, Tony,
but do the last one for the 7-year term. That one is very urgent. That one you can send her so that I can get the Wiper senators not only to reject, but to help take in what has been sent by the public, so they can then voice it, even if they're in the minority. They can make sure that our voice is heard in the Senate and in the media.
Right away. That will be done right away. I've seen the advocate Charlo also had a sample. I'm going to share that one. Tony, thank you for taking time from your holiday in Diani to come and defend Kenyans. And I urge you to really, really put effort on it. Keep on grinding, no matter the obstacles that will come on the way. And also know that we are with you, because you are with us. This is a fight for all Kenyans, and we shall not tire on this road. So I'm going to send the petitions, the ones I have right now, to Mweru, and she can see what she can do with it. And let me also thank Nelson for what you've done. You might not know it, but you're a hero in Kenya right now. And you will know this one day when you children write songs and sing songs about Nelson, person who blew the whistle on JKIA. So we are with you. On November 11th, we will be together and see what the court will make of this. Thank you very much for the time. God bless.
Yeah, thanks, Marabu. Just go ahead and send me the anything.
Mweru, I think we can bring in Daniel. It was nothing KE, then Daniel.
Hi, everybody. As usual, I always start by saluting our comrades who paid the ultimate price, the wounded, the injured, and Kenyans at large. I'd like to thank everybody who's hands on deck on this particular case. Tony, thank you and your team. And the other Tony and Moiru, I remember where the inception of this issue started. Sorry for the hiccups. I just wanted to add that there are lawyers who are sworn to the bar, and they're not practicing, but they're very willing to plug into issues like this. Like there were some who, I remember the day they were sworn to the bar, ended up getting involved to release comrades who had been arrested. So if you can reach out to LSK, I'll try and do that as well and plug them to you. They can help you with clerical work in terms of filing the cases and digesting them for you. Another issue.
Please let me interrupt you there, because I want to interrupt you there. I really need your help there, because I've spoken to friend Gatia, and he has told me that we must be very careful on the next farm that we choose. That would be very helpful, because we have until the 11th to go for the most important case, as Mara Box has said. So I would like by next week to have decided on a farm and lawyers to a point where we have public confidence. You remember Ndegwa Njiru has been on these spaces with me several times. By the time I instructed him, I had every confidence that this would never happen. Why I published the letter for everyone to read in the timeline is I was shocked to see somebody of his stature and Kibe Muigai writing to the deputy registrar of the court that they can't represent JKIA because they are going to the Gachagua case. It made me suspicious, because if you can't handle a case, you tell your client, so you make other alternatives. But on that day, they did it. So if you give this case to somebody, as you say, who is not sworn to the bar and the country, they can sell us out. And after all the risks Nelson and everybody has taken, I feel a public debt to be very careful. I'm doing this in the public trust. So go ahead, but please know that I need DMs of people who can help in the legal issue so that I can talk to them when we are not in the space, so they help me make a right decision in the next few days. Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to highlight is Wakili Chalo every day shares out these petitions and the bills that they are trying to pass in Parliament. And I've pointed him to Wanjiro because the last 2 days I was a bit held up, and Wanjiro has been holding spaces on those particular issues. Wakili Chalo, by the time he shares with you an issue, he's already drafted it in summary, such that if you're going to sign, say opposing the term limit, he makes it easy for you. He makes sure that the document is not amendable, because the first time we were trying to fight the infrastructure issue, some people are able to amend the document. So now when he shares them, he makes sure that they're not amendable, because I think Parliament was trying to change the document to state as though people were supporting what they were doing. And then, so people are only supposed to sign, and then the link is supposed to collect the information and you can oppose it. So yeah, I'll plug you to Wanjiro. She's been spearheading that on Spaces, and maybe KOT, you can help her on highlighting these issues, so that we don't leave anything behind. We are falling through the cracks of the mess they are creating on a daily basis, because as people are focused on one thing, they keep spewing more trouble for the nation. Thank you for committing to safeguard this Adani JKIA issue. I look at it from the point of border security, that we cannot relegate to a foreigner. And I don't like when people say that such infrastructure has been given to foreign firms before, because what they're giving us is actually not value for money. Another thing on PPP, which is private public partnership, the government is required to share, to have public participation on such issue. So they're just taking a shortcut, and especially because they came up with this intention to remove conflict of interest when it comes to government project, which is another hole they're digging us into. We support you. Let us know how else we can support, so that we don't end up losing JKIA. We salute you. We thank you. I'm sorry about the disappointment, but I would like to warn you, it can happen with any lawyer. It can happen with any lawyer. Very few of them will be committed to the letter. So prep yourself and probably stretch your option. I salute you for this commitment. I thank everyone, and we are here. We are here to support you. I yield the mic so that we can have other voices. But thank you, everybody, for this. Thank you.
Moero, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Nothing. Thank you so much, and thank you for your volunteering and offering to help. And
So we can have Daniel, then Fabish, then Sophia.
Hello, you can hear me, right? Because there was some chaos static when she was talking, when nothing was talking. Now, before I start, I'm going to ask that you guys let me finish, because I'm going to have 2 questions, and they're very important that I finish all of them, so they can be a very nice package, yeah? So that you can answer the questions in a very nicely neat way. even if the question will jump, the answer will jump at you, especially Tony, because I know the answer to the first question will jump at you immediately. So let me just finish so you can answer them, and even the legal minds here. The first question is, with this case right now, what is the, if the case is won, what is the extent of the restriction? Like what is the extent of what we will protect? Not just the airport. Is it going to extend to other assets, brick and mortar assets like the port? What is the extent of the reach of the restriction we're going to get if we win this? And the second question is there any way we can tweak the current petition or use the wins from this petition to then create a petition to protect other assets that we are not even thinking? Let me give you an example. There's a president in this SADC countries, is it Namibia or I can't remember the exact country, that ended up selling 25% of the landmass of his country to a UAE company. He sold 25% of the landmass with these financial instruments that are being created around climate change. He ended up actually giving up 25% of the entire landmass of the country, and I'm hearing he might even extend it. Now, is there any way we can use the wins for now? Because when we all know our president is all about this carbon credit stuff, and there's a lot going on behind kind of carbon credits with the land that we have, the national parks and all these things. Now, is there any way we can use that as a new front, or what we have now, can it be used to maybe fight that battle after we're done? I'm good.
Was that question for me? So let me just quickly say.
Yeah, Anthony, I'm done.
Okay, let me quickly say this. William Ruto is actually a sophisticated criminal, because this is the entire matter that Nelson broke. You know, this PP Directorate of Private Public whatever was created so that you don't have any information. Remember that you cannot make a petition without evidence. You cannot make a petition without documents. You cannot make a petition from just the newspaper report. And why they made this issue of PPP is because the government invites a single-sourced individual, kept in secret and mostly done abroad, so that at the point of signing, they have not told Parliament, they have not advertised, and nobody knows. So by the time they are signing and you're aware, even if you go to court, the judge will ask you, where do you have this information? Now, if I can now speak about it because I couldn't speak about it before. When Nelson and everybody started this whistleblowing, some of us went undercover. And Mweru was the first person who was beginning to talk about getting the Adani background information. And so we decided to go in a different way. The airport workers went on strike, and Kenyans forget. And they said, we are not going back to work until all the documents are given to us. That was the first tranche of documents that we were able to get, because the government had to give the union by law those documents so that the union could agree. That was the first crack in the matter. The other cracks of the matter I don't want to talk about but if we talk in a different forum, I'll tell you. But then it took about 2 months to build a case about JKI. I can tell you without fear of contradiction, even with the way the lawyers misbehaved, the petition is filed. And the petition, I added in the public interest, I added certain other individuals so that the matter qualifies as a matter of public of interest. That means we added, for example, Wiper Party, we added Jubilee Party, we added the DAPK Party. All these were added as petitioners so that it is not Tony Gashoka on his own, that Wiper has 3 million people, that this one has. So the court is going to be looking at the petition as a Kenyan petition. So I did not want to hog or own the petition. My idea was that we make it a public document so that even when a judge is looking at the weight of the issues being asked, and then of course, in addition, we have the workers. So why I'm emphasizing on the JKI deal is we need a win against Ruto. And I can assure you we are going to have a win on this matter. And if we take one win, let's say, for example, we defeat Adani in this case, and certain constitutional declarations are made against him, because the petition is sustainable, because it has been well researched and well packaged. We can use that to blacklist him, even in other cases he already may be doing or already being awarded. We can actually use the JKIA win to nullify or to bring back to court, question other issues, because by that order of the court, he will be blacklisted. Because among the prayers and other things we are asking for in the petition will be, who is this man? And we are discussing his conduct, including in Malaysia and in other countries where he's been banned. And Mweru has agreed to share this petition. I think the time has come. Anybody willing to have this petition, it's now a public document. Please ask Mweru for a very comprehensive document that we put together, notwithstanding the fact that I need to change the lawyers. And I don't think the lawyers were disloyal to the petition. It's just that this Gachagua man and the money that is going around, I don't know what happened. I was just shocked to see them leave a petition at the hour of need. But anyway, the petition before they left, particularly Kibe Muigai, who is an expert in public law, he did a very, very good job. So the petition is there and it is solid. And if we win one thing against Ruto, it will give us a stimulus and the content of orders to be able to go about the other issues and unearth and unmask Adani.
And also, Tony, I was asking, can we also, after this, as we forge forward, can we also think about the stuff I said, especially the land and also the port and all these other things that we might not think? We can kind of like encompass them, even for Kalonzo especially. He can use that as a rallying call. Be like, okay, fine, I'm also here to protect the resources of the country. I'm not just a politician. I think he can even use that in a political sense to kind of like drive the minds towards it. So we're also thinking, this person is not just here for, we can actually see him, like, I think he should also pick that up as a way, like, we also have these other assets and we can be able to protect them and people are not aware. I think even for Kalonzo, if he's listening here, he can try and use that, in a political way.
I'll send him the recording in the morning, but I can't agree with you more, because I saw the change in the court when he stood on his feet. There's that respect. There's that seriousness that he's adding to what Nelson and his team and all of you in your prayers have done. I think there is a place for that kind of face to kind of make the courts take the thing seriously.
All right, thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Fiji. Thank you, Daniel. Fabish?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Fabish.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you so much, TG, Mweru, Nelson, Anthony, and everyone. I don't know even how to thank you, TG and Nelson, our gentleman, that you decided to sacrifice everything and stood up for the country. You are a hero. And also TG, that you take everything and you are battling. I know that you are having a lot of pressure, but notwithstanding the pressure, you say that you are standing with Kenya. I also want to extend my gratitude to Kalonzo Musyoka. He is indeed now showing us that he has interest of this country at heart, because for him alone appearing and standing at the bar to defend the interest of this country is not something to be taken for granted. William Ruto is trying to bombard us with a lot of issues so that we can be diverted and we can lose control. Yesterday, there was another bill, a very critical one, that also should not go unnoticed. It is called Critical Infrastructure Protection Bill. When you study that bill very well, it actually, I think, even emanating from this Adani deal, and also in a way attacking Chapter 1 and Chapter 37 of our Constitution, because it says that it is going to list, let's say, Parliament, JKIA, Uru Highway, and other infrastructure as critical infrastructure that will be protected and out of bound for everybody to access without authority. Now, it contravenes a lot of chapters in the Constitution, including the rights of information, because it imposes a hefty fine that anyone who, whether journalists or even the whistleblowers, that you solicit information from those critical infrastructure, the fine will, or even maybe you demonstrate in those spaces, you will be fined for up to 10 to 15 million or 10 years in imprisonment or both. Yesterday we were in another space and there was a wakili that also we tried to give out our memorandum, and yesterday 5 o'clock was the deadline. We don't know how it is going to go forward in the Senate. So TG, I hope also that you will get notice of this and follow up, because if this one go through, then we are done as a country. This is going to take us back to Moi era.
Sorry, I don't want to speak a lot because I want others to contribute. But I undertake that I'll talk to Kalonzo in the morning, because I think we have about 8 senators. I can't remember how many, who he's can direct to help us with this matter. I think there's Senator Wambua, Senator Manzo, I can't remember, but from Ukambani at least, we've got about 8 senators already in the House who are wiper. So I'll talk to Kalonzo in the morning and report in the next space.
Thank you so much. Yes, because we have seen now that Ruto is attacking us from every corner. And I want to agree with you, because the fight now that you have decided to take into Ruto doorstep, it is going to harm him. He will later realize that he's committing a suicide by himself. Thank you so much. And thank you also for taking time and update us. We have been waiting for this moment, and this is a big win for the country. Indeed, this is a big win. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Fabish. Let's hear from
Thank
Sophia.
you, Fabish. I want to bring in CPM, KOT, then Sophia, in that order.
Actually, no, it's Sophia, then Ryan, then CPM, then KOT. So Sophia, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
TG, thank you so much. Let me just start by thanking you for all you've done with the JKIA matter in the courtrooms. Nelson, shout out to you. I have also been a little perturbed as to what happened yesterday, but I don't want to disparage my colleagues. But I just want to point out one thing that for me is very important as somebody who lives in Kilifi, is that in so much as there's so much happening with JKIA, there's a lot happening with the Malindi International Airport as well. So I just wanted to point it out. I don't want to take too much time because I know it's late in the night and we have so much to discuss. But in terms of
I don't want to interrupt,
accountability,
but the case is against the Kenya Airports Authority, which controls all of that. So remember, we talk JKA, but all the airports are covered. So,
Thank you, Tony. But there is a specific nuance that is happening in Malindi International Airport. So I don't know if it is subsumed within your petition, or there is need for us to include additional information.
if you DM me or Anthony or Mweru, we will send you the petition. The petition is, you can read what we've put, then you can get back to DM me or Anthony Mureithi or Mweru.
Noted.
All right, thanks, Sophia. Let's go to
CPM was actually,
Ryan.
I do know, I saw about the Malindi issue today. I'm actually trying to get it. Was that your submission?
Daniel, I don't think Anthony, I don't think you can hear.
CPM.
But Sophia is done. So Ryan,
Yes.
can you go?
Hello?
Was that your submission?
No.
There was a lady talking about the Malindi issues.
I haven't spoken yet. I have another issue.
No, wait a minute. CPM. Who was the lady speaking so that I know who I should DM the petition to?
Sophia, I'll send it to you in your DM. It's Sophia. So Ryan, go ahead.
Okay, CPM, go on.
Is it me or Ryan?
Okay,
it's Ryan, go ahead. Then CPM follows.
Okay, thank you for the space. I'm not much of a lawyer, but I had a suggestion to Tony since he's in touch with Kalonzo. I think it's high time for him to step up. I think we should urge him to step up for us and don't sit and wait for Raila to push him over so that he can come and cry again. Venye amesema yeye si watermelon. Let him show the leadership and push forward through the Adani to show the leadership he has and that we can trust him. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan, for your contribution. Let's hear from CPM, then KOT.
Thank you for the space. Allow me quickly brush through five aspects from associate level of knowledge. First is what Nelson said about the PPP regulations. You know, a regulation describes how an act works on a day-to-day basis, while an act describes what the law is. So when the PPP Act was passed in 2013, the regulations followed in 2014. When the Act was revised in 2021, the regulations were retained. Now, there are 2023 draft regulations that still sit at the Treasury, and via a post that is in the comment section, you will see that it will have also partly capped this situation because there is a rule on it that entails Adani is supposed to submit several documents, including company profiles, tax information, etc. So unfortunately, I haven't yet seen the updated petition. Sorry. So perhaps you can advise where I can source it from, so that to also check if that is also covered. Because in court they will make reference to the regulations of 2014, and it will be quite chaotic. Even the regulations themselves said they are to be used in accordance to the PPP Act 2013. Then the other thing, the PPP Directorate published a project pipeline status in July 2024. And that way, I think it was about after a month when Nelson exposed. So the rules of the Act says that when a project, it had written that the JKIA deal was at the commercial clause. The Act says that when a project is at the commercial clause, you're supposed to know everything. Who is the project details? Where are they from? What have they done? What are the transaction details? So everything should have been public as at July, or let me say 1st of August. And then last year, the PPP Directorate published terms of reference for transactions advisors who are supposed to do due diligence of PPP project. It's supposed to be an independent person appointed by contracting authority or KA for this matter, or in consultation with the directorate. And the terms of reference are very simple document, about 6 pages. I believe Nelson can share it. That actually, if you even check at the summary page, let me just cap it in 10 seconds. It has already disqualified Adani because it says the due diligence is to be done and to make sure that the person has not debarred in any country from participating in PPPs, is not corrupt or engaged in acts of corruption, directors have not been convicted of any felony, etc. So that is also another point that I wanted also to point. And then finally is the section 62 of the PPP Act actually gives us power as citizens to stop that process when it is against public interest. And civil unrest is actually written in that document, subsection E, that it's part of the process that we as the people can engage to cancel off that. And also to close off now, there was the issue of that we can do it by ourselves. I think the government will win against that argument because we have to understand the differences between the wording funding and financing. The government can finance, but it cannot fund. You see, financing is looking for funds for the project. Funding is paying off for the project value. It's just like when you go to a supermarket, you have 5,000 to spend, right? So it's you to buy 10 things without 5,000, or buy two things without 5,000. So the government can come up with that argument, and they might
Excuse
win it
me, I
because
don't want to interrupt you, but it's a very important point you're raising, and you have a very short window. I've already sent Nelson a DM, and I would like you, because I need your number so I can WhatsApp you the petition. Because whereas the amended petition has been filed, remember the workers are also interested parties on the other side. So if you look at the petition and there is anything material that is not in the main petition, kindly do it very urgently so that after you look at it, so that the Kenya Airport Workers Union in their reply, you know, when they do, you know, they're replying, and then we have a right to reply to their reply. So either it comes in their documents or when we are replying to their responses. We are not late because we have filed the the petition in chief, then they are meant to respond. And after they respond, we have one more right to reply. So I am urging you that this document be dispersed tonight, this minute. I've sent Nelson a DM. If you could give me his WhatsApp number or yours, I'll send you the petition right now, this minute.
Done. It's done.
okay. I think I'll have a look at the petition, and then we'll chat you.
All right, thank you, CPM. Go ahead, KOT.
Okay. Thank you, Tony, Mweru, and all other guys who are on this space for having this great discussion this evening. And of course, I'm coming in from a point of we having the lawyers like Tony and the others who are pushing on this end. And so personally, I feel like even as much as you guys are doing it from the point of you being the lawyers, filing the petitions and following up in the court and everything, then some of us who are not so much knowledgeable in that field, we can also take part in the initiative that you guys are doing, especially on this Adani JKIA takeover stuff. Because if other people on the other side, we can now join you by piling in more pressure, speaking to people on the ground, because I've been on the ground and I feel like some of these people down here, they don't have that information. But whenever they have that information, of course, they will amplify the voice by questioning, especially those people who are coming from the villages. You know, these people, they do so much engagement, especially on the FM radios and of course in their meetings. And so it will be so good to ensure that we enlighten them, of course, so that whenever these people are coming on the ground, especially those people who are pushing for these Adani staffs, the political class, whenever they come down here, they found that the ground is totally polarized, so they don't have any peace down here. So from my end, I feel like any other person who is not a lawyer, if you feel like you can't actually represent the movement to the court on this matter, then let us take up that mantle of educating other people on the ground on these matters, how they affect them directly, so that when the lawyers are doing it, the legal process, then us down here, we are educating people now, they'll pile in more pressure. Otherwise, I want to thank you, Tony, and Mweru, Nelson, I can see you are here, and any other person who is on this space for congregating here and having this concrete discussion. Thank you.
KOT, before you drop off. So I know the next court date, then correct me if I'm wrong, Tony and Anthony, is November 11th. We probably need to sort of, if it's feasible, we can amplify this and make some banners, and then if people are okay doing this, I'm not one to push people because I'm not actually on the ground to show up. We'll need some moral support outside the court, if that is plausible. I don't know what people think about this opinion. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure that would also make a statement, because we need to make it hard that the fact that people are not given the opportunity to have public participation in this, they can show up in court. So if you're able to just amplify this, like November 11th is the court date, I would communicate to you the time, and people want to show up to court, that would be great too, because especially after what happened today, where some of the lawyers, yesterday, where some of the lawyers pulled out, I'm pretty sure Tony and the team would appreciate having some moral support. So next speaker is Neves. Neves, if you're still here.
Mweru, just before you go to the next speaker, let me just comment on that in less than 1 minute. So personally, I'll be so willing to do a very good mobilization outside the court, because I'm able to do that. Let us do a very nice mobilization there, get people outside if it's Milimani law courts, let people go there to air out their views through the placards and chanting there that they really don't want the Adani.
It's 11th of November at open court in Milimani. 11th of November. And so you can go ahead. So, to save each other's time, you can now plan for 11th of November.
This is a good idea, Tony. I will also try and help out Sonko to do the mobilization.
Yeah. Please tell him. And he thinks very highly of Kalonzo. So Kalonzo will be there to lead the team. And by tomorrow afternoon, Tony, Muridi, and I we wanted to appoint the new lawyers. So I write one letter of change of advocate, as you understand. Nelson, if you check in your WhatsApp, I've sent you the entire petition and the notes associated to it.
I got it. Thank you.
And so the last day to reply is the 8th of November.
Thank you.
Also, before we proceed, if there's anybody here who is a lawyer or it has any form of legal expertise, Tony, you probably need to sort of mention what happened yesterday. If you want to help out with the team, your assistance will be really appreciated, because he's looking for a new team to represent us in court. So if you're willing to just volunteer your services, that would be also greatly appreciated. So the next speaker right now, can we have Sahara, then Jasiri, then MMESQ? Jasiri, go ahead, and then MMESQ. All right, health data, go ahead. All right, Sarai. Wait, can you guys hear me? Because I'm not seeing any responses.
No, we can hear you. Can you hear me, Mweru?
Yes, I do.
Then we can hear you.
All right, Sarai, go ahead. All right, Anthony, please just give people a synopsis of what occurred while bringing new speakers. The ones that I have on board are not speaking.
No worries. So, like TD said, after the Gachagua, the deputy president's case started, we lost. The deputy president enrolled the services of Senior Kibe Muigai and Egwanjiru. And then the cases, and Mweru had mentioned this. You actually asked me, have you noticed the petition was brought to Tuesday? So Tuesday, the two lawyers had two cases, our case and the deputy president case, and they chose to go with the deputy president. And one of the things I feel when KOT, Sonko, and Nelson say, the issue of the public showing up in courts, it helps to build that public awareness, that people see that moral support. That is what the deputy president is doing with this case, is that when he goes to court, he jumps the court with people. We need to do the same on our end, so that now our case becomes more of a public case, and because the media will say that the people are involved in this case. So yeah, that is what happened. So we lost our lawyers to the deputy president, and I am not going to cast aspersions. Maybe the money and the urgency there was more. But we are very happy that Eugene Wamalwa and Kalonzo Musyoka came in at the last point and they said, you know what, we are going to represent you guys as we try and get things in order. Other than that, I'm very happy with the case we have. I do know there's that Malindi issue that lady was raising. I saw it today, but I didn't get the details of it. But it's something they are trying to petition separately as workers about assets or something that belong to KA or something like that. But I'll get the details tomorrow. So I see Rasji is here and Neves. And someone called Kenyan Boy, that one. So let me just pass the mic. So Rasji, if you can hear me, you can take the mic. Then Kenyan Boy, then Neves. We actually just around 5 minutes to the close of the hour.
Thank you so much, my brother in the movement, Anthony. And I want to be very brief, and I want first to say that Nelson, TG, Mweru, Anthony, most important people who have played very, very, very critical and important role on this Adani issue. And like we had said kitambo kidogo, if Zakayo manages to take over Adani, manages to take JKIA using Adani, then Zakayo would have done a very big damage to the young people and to so many lives in Kenya. So I want to loud so much, and it's hard off for TJ, Mweru, and Nelson, especially for whistleblowing on this issue. And to the many petitions that are still on the courts, all Kenyans that are on the corridors of justice, trying to access justice for our valuable infrastructure, be it resources that this government is trying all the ways and all the means to illegally acquire. I still beseech you, I still encourage you to go on. Please go on. And since I wanted to be very brief, and this one is directed directly to TJ. Today we had a discussion somewhere, and the government has resorted to intimidation. It has resorted to abduction. There are Kenyans, like somebody like Nani was abducted last night, and he has also been very vocal on Adani and other issues that are affecting the country. So there is a period. We were with Fabish, and we are saying that we cannot continue sitting down as they take 1, 2, 3 people. As others pursue Adani and others, we were of this suggestion of having a wing that counters these Subaru boys. Whenever, like yesterday, I remember Gaido was shouting for almost 2-3 hours online. There are people coming to. It was my suggestion, and we had a platform with other people that it is time. It is time, Kenyans. It is time. Even if it means countering these boys wherever they are, because this is a regime that has organized itself in a manner that it can sell fear to us. When they are auctioning our assets, they want us to keep quiet so that they can do these things at free will. So it is my suggestion, and it is the suggestion of others who are not here. And this one I'm putting here so that you can liberate and come up with ideas. We are going to have a wing that purposely counters these boys. If they've gone outside the constitution, if their master has sent them to go outside the constitution so that they can abduct and kill us, then we must have a counter to that. Otherwise, thank you, and I allowed everybody who has played a very important role on Adani. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ras G. I don't know, this space is also compromised again. We keep getting thrown off. But can we hear from Kenyan Boy?
Good evening, everybody. The first thing, I'm gonna thank everyone who's been contributing and who has, in one way or the other, opposed this deal, this JK takeover or Kenya takeover, if I may. But what I would say is we should not tire, because Ruto is not tiring, and he has so many tentacles on almost every project. And the moment we lose the focus, then we'll be there. We'll be done. So I'll continue doing what we should continue doing what we're doing. I applaud Tony Deguno. The petition will go a long way, and then we should also continue. In my humble opinion, we should also continue building coalition, like the way you say you're going to talk to Kalonzo in the morning. We should also engage like political and religious leaders. You see, like the way they also do with their corruption money. We should also try a way, find a way to infiltrate the religious organization, and to some part we can also involve the diaspora who can, who are influential, and they can amplify our message international, or international platforms. And not to forget, there are some NGOs who are also, awake, and
There's something I want to talk to you. There's something I want to talk to you about that, because I had wanted to talk to Mweru about it. Why the diaspora money was going the wrong way in the past was because it was being channeled to people who cannot be trusted.
Absolutely.
And I think what we would need, and I would just make a suggestion. If, for example, some money was raised and a center was opened in Nairobi, an official center, and that center will then have certain departments in it, legal, operation, and I can help in terms to oversee that if there is no crooked, hakuna ukora, So I think if we could start with some kind of a center, even that Kalonzo and those senators, like the people who are friendly to us, we have about 44. There's about 7 from the KANU, 4 from DAPK, about 20 from, so there are some MPs and some senators who just don't know what to do. Not because...
Yeah, and some disgruntled Gachagua friends too.
Yeah, exactly. But particularly those like Wiper, when they are told do this, they will do it. You understand? I mean, even if you have 10, very serious, and then we develop them. A guy like Manzo, he's a lawyer. He's on Citizen every day, but he doesn't seem to have the direction, So if we have a center, and I don't want to hog a lot of space, but if we can like put some money, open something, and then it's ours, then we start having events there. I can invite those leaders and people, and they will come. But let's stop thinking about the way it's been done by others, because they didn't have the experience or maybe the repetitions we have, so that people will be comfortable. We can actually put something together.
Yeah, we can learn from their mistakes, and then we don't want to be rudderless. Because I was thinking it's going to be a marathon, and we're going to need funds for definitely we're going to need some funds. So once we set up that kind of setup, then we can start building those relationships, and we start funding our own movement. So I'm all.
So you have a computer system with networks. You have a computer system with networks. When people log in real time, they know what's going on, so on.
Yeah. Yes. So
Sorry
I'm all for it.
Tony, do you mind sending co-host again? We've both been dropped.
Oh, sorry, guys. So, I mean, again, I think you guys got my points, and let's continue working on social media. It might be slow, but because we know Itumbe is all over the place with his, bots, but let's not tire. Keep doing what you're doing, and let's hold more spaces and invite more people. Thank you guys so much, and have a good night.
Thank you. Can we hear from Rotich? Oh, unless Anthony. Anthony, do you have something you want to say?
No. I'll say it at the end.
Rotich, go ahead, but Tony, you don't have any co-host, so send co-host request again.
I'm doing that. I don't know what's up. I've sent it twice. Oh, Tony has got it. Let me try again. Yes, Russ, can you go on as we get on? Russ, G?
I'm in myself. Can you hear me?
Okay, good.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so good. So Rotich was next. If Rotich is not available, we can go to, I think Kenyan had spoken. Nevs. Nevs. So as they prepare, this is what I wanted to suggest to people on the group. Now, as people file these petitions, because I've noticed we've been on the black is a proper what TG is proposing. Now we need a channel where people feel after they do their petitions, they can either file them online for those who know how to do them, and for those who do not know how to do them, we can have a center of collections. Now we take those petitions and now we give them to the representatives who are in the house. You can say we are using Manzo, we are using any other person who's elected. Now that gives your petition a better chance of making it to the floor. Why? Because when we are doing this handover, we shall be saying we are representing the people and we are giving this senator, this MP, our petition to table on our behalf to the floor. So once we do that, now we are playing the smart game. Because now we can pick petitions, we can have KOT Sonko going what he's doing right now. Like now he's in Meru. He's in Meru. We have something we need to work on as a petition. KOT Sonko will pick it up from Meru, transmit it to us, then we give it to the senator, whoever we are working with, then they take it to the floor. Now, once we have such an efficient system, our chances of winning doubles. It actually 10x's. It just increases exponentially.
Anthony, I'll make it easy. Anthony, next week I'm going to send you from Kirogoya, Kirinyaga to Kalonzo. You put down your notes and I'll make you an hour meeting. Then you can go and sort it out. So, I've got too many things, but I'll book your meeting for an hour.
Okay, TG, no worries.
I mean, as we proceed, let me just state how this whole journey with Adani started, because I'm very passionate about it. I was on vacation one day and I couldn't sleep, and then I remembered Wanyama. I hopped on a space in Wanyama, and I think it was Real Joy KOT. They held a 24-hour space where they were reading the deal, and they shared the document, and I read the document, and I spent my vacation a whole day reading the document and analyzing it. And then I go back on space, and the first space I saw that said Adani was the TG and Anthony. I didn't even know you guys. And I got on there, you guys gave me the mic, I spoke, and then you guys came up with this whole initiative of petitions. And yeah, so I just wanted to I see Wanyama is here. I wanted to give him credit. I don't know if he's still here, and if he wants the mic, he can also ask for the mic. And as we go on, I just want everybody to just get their flowers, because I love how this, with time, has come together to be this big thing where we are working on this, and we're going to get Adani. I think when we put our foot on the ground with this, they're going to be scared. Even the government will be scared, because I honestly have an inclination that this is just a beginning. I hope somebody is keeping an eye out on the pot, because you already saw what they just did with Tanzania. So we need to start stopping them. And I believe this is the way to go. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah, as we bring in new speakers. And Governor, if you're here, I give you the mic. Go ahead and speak.
Mweru, another thing I forgot to tell you earlier, since ODM joined the government of national unity, the LSK is behaving very differently. So you have to be very careful about what you thought were strong organizations. You understand? So anyway, there are many things I can't say online, but we are being very cautious.
All right, Waliuba, go ahead.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Governor Kahuho. I want to say thank you so much for Tony G and also Nelson Amenya for whistleblowing about the Adani JKIA. And I've come to know more about how the government is doing and how the Adani is all about, because Adani, it is all about Ruto, and it is a big flag off for Ruto. So thank you so much, Nelson Amenya. Good night.
Thank you. Waliuba, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Moiro. I would like to appreciate Tony. I want to appreciate Nelson Amenya. I want to appreciate QT and the other people who have been very vocal on matters at the Adani, especially Nelson for being a whistleblower and also just pushing it through. I think mine for tonight won't be much. It's just that I'm a little bit getting devastated by how the government is handling us. We can see the government playing games with us. We have bills that are being tabled in Parliament, and some of these bills are actually going unnoticed because we have so much to look into. So Tony, maybe my advice will be, when we are done with Adani, because we know Adani is everywhere. Adani is Ruto, Adani is Shah, Adani is Chief, Adani is everywhere, wherever Adani is. Let us just tackle the real problem that is Ruto, because he wants to frustrate us. We tackle one issue, he comes up with another. We tackle another, he comes up with another. And then we'll find things that will be just passing our eyes without our knowledge, So we need to tackle him once and for all. If it's ODM is the problem, let us bring ODM down and then we deal with Ruto, because we are really tired as Kenyans. We are tired. We are going to be weighed down fighting one thing after the other, So we don't want to be weighed down, because we also saw what happened during Maandamano, we cannot keep fighting day after day. Let us try and deal with the problem. Ruto is the problem. Let us deal with Ruto. I will be very happy to see us live lives that where we want to wake up and go to work and not feel like we are being deducted money that will not help us. Look at what Shah is doing to us. Yeah? Right now, I don't even want to work. I don't want to wake up and go to work because I know I'm just going to feed someone's stomach. And that person I know is Ruto. Why do we have to condone with this man? He's abducting us. He's weighing us down, and we cannot allow for that to continue.
Well, I want to tell you one thing and then be very quick about it. The whole reason I'm so annoyed about this Gachagua thing is because I don't understand why people cannot see it's just a diversion. Since Gachagua came, the housing levy out, the Kentraco out. Right now, ODM is negotiating to increase their share in government. Bill Gates has just come and signed a private deal with Ruto, and he has just given $50 million to Kamala Harris campaign in private. If that's about $5 billion. If you can give Kamala Harris an American $50 million, what do you think he can give Ruto? We are in a state of chaos. And one of the reasons I'm so happy on this pace, I've been trying to tell people, stop this Gen Z kifua nini. Let me bring some old wise men to join with us, so that us guys, those who are slightly older than me, Eugene is my age mate, Kalonzo is older than us. If I can bring that sector, and then we can get the 20 senators or MPs who are solid, then we join with the force of Gen Zs, the lawyers, the whistleblowers. We now have something called a coalition, where we can start somewhere, so that we can look at Ruto with also people of his equal force. He can't arrest Kalonzo Musyoka. You take it from me, he can't even dare. But now, if we come here in the spaces and we just abuse Kalonzo and abuse him every day, then what do we want? I asked Kalonzo the other day where he got the name Watermelon. He told me Raila is the one who called him a watermelon. And now who is a watermelon? So politics, we cannot be adamant not to change our ways. I don't want to hog the space. Mweru is in charge.
Yes, thank you so much, Tony. And yes, let us do away with the diversion tactics and just focus on the end goal. Thank you so much for the space.
All right. As we go ahead, I'll have the move. Go ahead, Tony.
No. Move the mic. Move the mic.
Yeah, the movement. Are you here? All right, Otota. All right, Solo ICT.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go on.
I would like to raise my issue here. You see, the last time the Gen Zs came out, it was so, I don't know, they were disorganized, and that led to the collapse of the movement. Now, if you let me now come up with this idea, let's team up with the rest of the team. Let's not just move that it's this certain group that is moving against Ruto or this other group that is moving against Ruto. If we would all now form up a coalition, as I heard someone say, I don't know who said that. If we all move together, like one big thing, this time we can shake this government out. We can let Ruto just get out of here. I mean, look at this thing. Ken Trako is already out. Adani already has that contract. We have seen what he has done in other countries, in Malaysia and Bangladesh. Yet now he's bringing the same thing now back here in Kenya, and the government cannot do anything about it. If we don't move now, where are we heading now? If now, 20 years from now, Kenya doesn't have anything, we are going back to the Moi era where nothing works. So that's all. I'm just angry. I don't know what to say. Give them up to someone else. Thank you.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what you're saying. So November 11th, the case is going to be in court in Milimani. KOT and the team they're going to try and organize flyers and everything, and people need to print T-shirts because this is a chance for public participation. This was deprived from all of us. So if you want to show up at the courthouse, just remember the date, November 11th, Milimani. So the next speaker is Karen, followed by Farida, then Cedric. Nas Frida, go ahead. Nas Karen. I see you there. All right, Farida, go ahead. Cedric.
Hello, Moru. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Tony and Anthony, for all that you're doing. I think I've diarized the 11th of November. As legal counsel, I would like also to just have my input. Maybe I can assist with the documentation. So maybe I'm just keen to maybe have the
Please send me
petitioner
your
as well.
DM. Send me a DM now, so I'll send you the petition right away.
Very well, Tony. Thank you for that. Yeah, so that I can also, I'm keen to appear on that day just to see what is happening. And
I am your client. I have given you instructions. I am your client.
Very well, Tony. Asante. Jioni njema.
Thank you, Cedric. And let that be the spirit. If you have a way you can help out with this, let's all play our part. So Farouk, can you hear me?
Yes, well, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Me? If you can, okay, thank you.
Yes, we can.
Sansana for this opportunity.
Yeah, we cannot hear you. So Neves, go ahead.
Hi,
Okay,
thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Tony.
Anthony.
Thank you, Mweru, for this. My apologies to you, Tony. Early in the morning, I brought up a different issue of affidavits, and I didn't know that your lawyers had abandoned you. So sorry for that. So now I'd like to mention two things. I think this whole Adani issue was a well-orchestrated plan to bombard us with PPP proposals so that as we concentrate on one, the other two sails through. Like you have JKIA, you have SHIP, you have Ketraco. I think after all this, we need to formulate a way of dealing with this kind of shenanigans so that at least we are not ambushed in the same way in future. That is one. The other thing that I've observed, we also need to emphasize on empowering the laws that gives the electorate the powers to recall MPs, senators, same for governors and the president. In the event we feel shortchanged in matters regarding ethics, corruption, and integrity, these would also help us create balance and checks in the events that the executive infiltrates the parliament or devolved governments. And like I said earlier, you do your big, we will do our retro, and I'm sure we will emerge victorious. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Neves. Can we hear from Kenyan Sun?
Mweru, news has gone.
Go ahead, TG. Yeah, news. No, he's still
I
on the
want, I want
panel.
him to hear one thing, which I want Mweru and Tony also to master. I want you guys to remember when you're talking to everybody, tell them there's a strategic reason why I'm concentrating on Jomo Kenyatta Airport. It's because that case we are going to win. We have all the documents. We have the workers behind us. We have got, this one we can win. The moment we win, we have an indictment against Adani, which we can take to India, we can take to the US. He will be indicted. So News, you understand, you can't go on a spread strategy. We'll get him by getting convicted. Convicted in one is convicted in all. He will be a criminal ab initio.
For the last time, San, go ahead. This is the third time I've given you the mic.
Sorry, I had a network problem. I'm back. Thank you very much for the mic. As mine just about to emphasize about this Adani thing and everything. Actually, we just have to understand that Adani is Ruto, and it's just using Adani as a scapegoat. So we must deal with him. So for the lawyers who decided to follow the Gachagua way, well and good. Let them go that way. For those that we still have, we are okay with them. We are happy for what they are doing. Tony and your team, Amenya, we thank you for what you did, and for everybody that has been fighting.
Unaona ile barua yao, I'm going to lose friends, but you play with the public. I put it out there because honestly, anyway, it's for the public to judge them.
No, lose friends, no problem. Okay, no problem losing friends, but remember that you will have those friends who are true friends to you. Understand that. So whatever they do, we are doing for our interest, not for the few that are paid. Root us the billions and millions. For them, they only have peanuts. We cannot allow a bunch of people just to take over Kenya and think that it is their village. No. This is our home. We were born here. We will die here. We'll be buried here. For them, no matter where they go, they'll be brought here to be buried. So they cannot sell our country for their own interest. So Ras talked about something, and it's about the Subaru boys. Those are goons for hire. I can't call them the police or whatever. No, those are goons. And we must find a way to deal with them. They cannot abduct us, kill us, steal from us, and do what they think. No, we cannot allow that. Ours is not just about to take videos and everything. No, we have to act because Kenya is becoming something else. It's like abductions are now becoming out of the day. Mtu amekuwa abducted, sawa, hii itaisha. Mwenye atapatikana akiwa hai ni sawa, mwenye atapatikana amekufa ni sawa, na tunasonga, and they are happy. We cannot allow that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear from Jonah, but I agree with what you're saying. So Jonah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Tony, Mweru, and the team. My name is Jonah. I've been following up this, of course, conversation and looking at how maybe as a country we've gone down. Thank you, Tony, for being steadfast, and also even senior counsel Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa, who were able to give you a shoulder, bearing in mind that there were other boys who just moved out to go and seek peanuts. I don't know whether it's peanuts or some cash. Concerning the Adani, I'm looking at, is it possible that we could also do an online petition? I know that has also worked for other petitions across the world, even for indigenous communities, that we could raise that and be able to have people sign as a way of mobilizing even the staff at JKIA and also around the other airports in the country.
Could I just answer you? That's a very good idea. We did that about a month and a half ago, and we got hundreds of signatures from all of Kenyans. That's what led to the petition. That petition was forwarded to India, to Rahul Gandhi. It's on the floor of the Indian Congress. And
I
then,
saw it.
Yes, you saw it, yeah. And then the workers, the Kenya Aviation Workers Union, have joined the suit, the petition. They have appointed the senior Fred Ngatia, who I've met.
Ah, great.
Yeah, so it's a huge legal team that's coming together to save the airport. The workers are together with us, and we are together with them.
All right.
And what I don't want to repeat this issue, what Mweru is saying where we need help, there are conservatory orders that the LSK got before. But those orders are not permanent, and that case is not strong like our case. But because those orders exist, we want to consolidate those matters. So because ours is a constitutional case, the LSK case is a case of judicial review. They want to say, what about this deal, whatever, and that is not canceling the deal. Ours is a constitutional application calling the deal a nullity for want of public participation, for want of parliamentary approval, and other things, including the illegality of the PPP, which Chege Nelson's friend was trying to say, that we make those things declared unconstitutional so that we close those loopholes. Now, what I'm saying clearly is that we've got that now going, and that was to be done on the 22nd when we were abandoned by the lawyers, as you say. But Kalonzo was able to get us a new date of the 11th.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. But also, if you remember some other speakers who've spoken before me, is how, as much as we're looking at the legal aspects happening in the courts and engaging lawyers, we also need to do social mobilization of the citizenry. And of course, when I talked about the online petition, is also a part of how do we mobilize Kenyans across board to be able to now speak out aloud around this, around the airports. I'm imagining, I saw even, what they've done in Bangladesh, increasing rates when they took over the generation of power, for example, and things went all the way to over 102%. So
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I then must tell you this information. But I can't tell you more than this. I've told Nelson private. What I'm saying is the workers know they can strike. They don't even need people to go there. Are you understanding? But we are saying that as long as the petition is going the proper way and being handled properly, we are okay. The moment we smell or we think that there is anything, I don't want to say more because we are in a court.
Okay, yeah, I
But
understand.
but believe you me, I've been there a few years, so I want to assure you, all the workers across all the airports are with us in the union. So this is something, and they attend court, by the way. They were there even on. It was very embarrassing that the union members were in court, but our lawyers were not.
Okay, thank you.
And please DM me. Please DM me. I'll talk to you a bit more on that issue so I can. There's some things I can't say here.
All right. In regards to mobilization, KOT, do you mind just responding to what the previous speaker was saying, and then once you're done responding on how we're going to mobilize people, because we need the public to participate in this, and I believe November 11th at the courts, that would be a great opportunity for you if you're comfortable doing it. So I'll have KOT respond to you in regards to the mobilization aspect of that. Then after that, I'll have Engineer Otota, and this is the last time I'm giving you the mic because every time I give you, you don't respond. KOT, if you're not there, Engineer Otota, go ahead. All right, the design guy, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Great. Let me start by saying that I'll be a bit brief and also appreciate this chance to actually address a very big matter. Saying first that I am just a simple guy without a blue tick on Twitter. It's the first time that I think I am addressing a national matter on Twitter, and I have been really mad sometimes that the people who we rely on that have these blue Twitter who can actually mobilize people have been bought sometimes. Sometimes they don't want to support a cause. And just to say that it's just a few of them who've made these agendas that we have to actually counter the government and its wrongdoings. They've brought back our revolution. So mine is just to say that we actually have a very vibrant community out here who is willing to support in any way to check this government. And some of us, it's only that we cannot speak up, but we are doing our best. And my biggest point tonight, especially with these petitions that are happening, is we need to look at creative ways of protesting. Maandamano probably, or I can say failed, but there are other avenues. If you can just Google right now, creative protests, it's a very, very big way of doing things differently. And I think it can help us win these wars against this government because they've proved that we cannot be seen on the streets. I had an idea of actually occupying podiums on national holidays, and it's only that I will say again, I think I couldn't reach the right people to reiterate this point, but I had the idea of occupying every podium in all the 47 counties organized by the government, and that is where we'd have a Mwananchi public participation because it's the only platform that we have. I take the analyzation from the Gachagua public participation where many people showed up, and you see what the government did was take that as a point that most people voted that Gachagua should go. So here, like the Adani JKI takeover, if we actually have a platform on a certain day that will actually make people say no to Adani, and the government will actually, because I think Adani won't have like anyone saying we need Adani here. So majority of the votes or majority of the people will be against it, and so what would the government actually say about it, and what would the courts say about it? So I hear there's this petition. There's you're in court, TG, on 11th. So you've left it at, let's see how it goes. But again, we have a public holiday, the last one, on 12th of December. I think this should be an opportunity to make it a day to actually say no to all these things that are happening. Let us create a list of the biggest, maybe even 3 things that are
The
affecting
design
us.
guy, my apologies. I don't mean to interrupt, but because we're sort of short on time. But that's
Yes.
why we're trying to mobilize. We had one court session that was online on Zoom, and even I joined in, and we had people that joined in, and they did their public participation there by chanting and saying Adani must go. So it's already actively happening. As for November 11th, I see what you're saying, and
Yes.
we are working on mobilizing in that. So if you want to show up to court, you can show up to court.
My biggest point as I finish up is because this thing is only a conversation in Nairobi, in maybe major town centers, but it's not where the majority of the people who actually do not know about all these things.
So could you DM me so that we can continue after this conversation? So because I want to talk to you, but DM me so I get your number.
Sure, thanks, sawa. But
All right,
thank you a lot.
Hamazuka, go ahead.
Thank you, TG.
Hamazuka, go ahead.
Hey, thank you so much. Weru, TG, Anthony, thank you so much. I just wanted to also say thank you so much to Nelson, the whistleblowing. Now, this is what we call glimmers of hope, okay? Because sometimes we can be all talk and no action. So when a court case is filed, right, and it's done in a collaborative way, I'm here to speak on behalf of boomers and the older generation, and really suggesting that maybe the whole idea of Gen Zs not wanting to work with the older generation is another way of controlling or just creating havoc, creating stalling projects or stalling conversations, because the fact that TG said that this is a case that could be won, right? That's huge. That's the hope that we need. We hear bad news every day. I'm in the diaspora. So we have to be able to have the mentorship and guidance from those who have been in the political landscape for longer. We have to stop entertaining the conversation that, oh no, we don't want this one because this one has been there and this you atakula pesa pia. If you take a look around and see who is eating up all the money right now, it's one person who is moving like wildfire to consolidate power. We're going to be here talking about, oh, well, Gen Z, nini na nini. I'm all for unifying the base, so that we can bridge the gap between the innovative spirit of the young Gen Z and the wisdom of the people who've been there before. When you hear Tony Gashoka speaking, you can hear that he's been there, he's done that, he's been around the block a couple times. Okay, so all of the young people who are doing their thing, with exposing the odious debt and all of that. Yeah, that's really good. But internal division weakens us. So I just wanted to say to people that, listen, we have to not allow these people to prevent us from addressing those systemic problems. If you're 28, 30, 35, you don't know Jack. Okay, allow the people who've been around 40, 45, 50, 55. We have something to bring to the table also. We don't want our country to be given away to Adani. We can't cope with everything happening all at once. Y'all better recognize that it's time to stop calling all of these other people who are on our side. Kalonzo Musyoka, I don't care what he was called before. Watermelon. You're going to be calling somebody watermelon until you have nothing, no salary. Eh? Alafu, the abductions are continuing nonstop. Wake up, open your eyes, clean out the eyes, clean the boogers out of the eyes, shake off the ego, and also all these people who are on X with blue ticks who do nothing but convey toxicity. All of these spaces that are talking about toxic, Man Saturday or whatever it is. We don't want any division between feminine and masculine energy. This is a fight that we're all fighting together. Lend your voices properly to the movement. So I just wanted to say thank you so much.
I want to ask one thing only of you, Pambazu. Fantastic presentation. I need to make a trip around the diaspora. I need to go to London. I need to go to 3 or 4 places in the US and in Europe. And I need to do it because I understand that if I come and it's a one-on-one contact, the things we'll achieve are so many. And I understand that there is this disparity, and because people don't have information, but I know if you organize and I come, obviously we'll have gatherings organized. So I'm thinking after November the 11th, if I can have some victory from there, you can DM me so that we can organize, so I can take like a month out of the country or 2, and then just go around so that we build strong communities. And then once we build those interactions there, they will not know how we've done it there. Then I can, you know what I mean? We can plan all this out there because I know what is there. Of course, I went to Oxford. I was in the UK for 6 years. So, I mean, I'm part of you, I know everything would work better with a strong diaspora, but we can't do it with me in Kenya. It's easier for me to come to you than you guys coming to me.
Absolutely.
I think we are reaching that level. So.
Yes, I agree completely, 100%. In the past, as I have mentioned before, when governments needed things done, they came to the diaspora, right? From Bitengo Demo and all of when Vision 2030 is still, it might still be in the radar because they were talking about Vision 2030, but we can make it Vision 2025 and here in the diaspora, I think it's when I come on these space calls and I get the information, like when you confidently say, yes, this is a case we can win, okay? And it's an indictment. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear, oh, this has happened. Your heart just starts breaking every day, but it's this kind of result that
So I want to assure you that the only reason you've not seen me more visible and more in public, even doing public things with people like Kalonzo and everything, I know I'm a target for an abduction. So I know because of this case that I don't really fear it or care about it, but I know that's what they will do, but they don't know where I am. So we can't speak everything here, but we are not, as you say, we've been around the block. Let me get the conservatory orders on the 11th. When I'm sure Jomo Kenyatta is safe, then we'll go to court and I'll get orders against arrest, and then I'll travel.
Wonderful. Yes. Thank you so much. We don't need to reinvent any wheel. We have everything we need, guys. We have everything we need. We just need to solidify the base. And thank you so much to volunteers like Mweru and Anthony and everyone else, KOT, Wanyama, who are constantly on here talking. They're not opportunists like some of the other people we've seen. But yes, we are here. So tutaongea. Asante sana. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Pambazuka. Next speaker, Maju Alone.
Thank you, guys. I allowed you all. We are really together. We are together in this, and I'd like to concur with what Pambazuka just talked about. we really need the unity, guys. We don't need to bank on one set of group like the Gen Z or the millennials or anything. All of us are oppressed right now, so we all need each other. We need to be united. It's high time to tuache see others as calling them names, yet deep down they are really with us. So I appreciate so much, and I am in Nakuru, but I find it hard to find most of us. My account is verified, and I really am always for. If you can check my timeline, I'm against this government more than anyone. I get mad every day, so mad. There is no place I can express this more than in the streets or in courts or even here in spaces. But now, because we know that we have informers, even here in space, we can't really talk much. So thanks. Let us keep going.
Thank you. Let's hear from Moturi Mwangi. Moturi Mwangi, do you hear us? All right, Sesko, go ahead. Suju, go ahead.
Am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Okay, my name is Rivaldo Tieno Suju. I'm a university student, but I really like participating in these forums. I think it has been a while since we interacted in different spaces. I think Mweru, we have met in many spaces. The people like the real Joe we have met. So mine today is very little, in 2 minutes. This government, but we have talked too much. This government, I don't know where we'll go. Because the other time I post a video I will repost it, retweet it in the comment section. How we were killed in the street, and that's the day I started regretting about Zakayo's government, and even my DP speaks more. This is what is happening. If you can see my DP, this the real thing is happening. You see, we are begging this man. He has taken all things. This man killed us in the street like wild animals. This man shot us. This man, I lack what to express myself with this government. So my question for today is that I see we have a good plan to against Ruto. So chenye ilitumiza last time, and this is what ilitumiza. We were leaderless, though it was good, tribeless, voteless, it was good. But the main key, this time we are speaking of youth mobilization and handling of ID cards and how we can vote out this government in 2027 or even now. So when we want to do things, we must have a strategy and a plan. Tukitoa Ruto sahi, who will be the next president? You see, we should look at that very deeply, though we should not speak it now until we remove this government. So according to me, I think Kenya is tired and the whole nation is not happy with the government.
You're talking a lot of sense, and I'll be very brief. We are making a coalition of the willing. And so let's start there. And coming to this space is helpful. We started with Mweru, and you see where we've got on JKIA. So don't feel wasted. Let's make a communion and keep in touch on this space. We'll develop a strategy.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
So,
Sudu. Dante. Dante, go ahead, Dante. All right. Moturi Mongi dropped. Real Joe, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mweru and TG and Anthony for hosting this space. It is very important that Kenyans keep to be made aware about Adani, and most importantly, the win that was brought to us by Anthony, who was one of the people who filed the petitions against Adani, and we are able to get now the court order, which is a very good conservatory court order, which is a very good step for us and derails this entire process. One thing that I have always failed to understand is why did this deal come to life? I mean, I always ask myself this question all the time. I mean, what is this deal coming to do for us as Kenyans? I mean, what is it coming to achieve? Is it financial issues? What is it? Is it management? Because Adani wants to manage our airport. Or is it, what are they really trying to address? It is not even clear what Adani is coming to address. And I don't know why it is very, very urgent that our airport has to go to Adani, considering that it is not even a loss. JKIA is not loss making. And this is something that Kenyans also need to ask themselves, because, I mean, we have questioned a lot of things about the Adani deal. I mean, is it the best possible deal out there if we are talking about upgrading the infrastructure in our airport? And why are they using the PPP to get this deal? Should it not be a competitive and a rigorous process? We are not seeing transparency again in this process against Article 201 of our Constitution. So it's not clear what this actually. Some of the very, very even alarming things about this deal is the 18% for me, the annual returns, the 18%. We know what 10% interest of Eurobond did to us. So it brings a lot of risks rather than goodies, like they try to frame it. And why would we give someone 30 years of our airport just to build a new a new terminal and a new runway, and prevent us from developing another infrastructure in terms of airport for the next 30 years? That is backward thinking. I mean, who would agree to that? For the next 30 years, we are not thinking of building another airport. I would have preferred if we even upgrade if the government does initiatives to even upgrade Wilson Airport, which I think is one of the oldest, I think maybe the oldest in our country, because it can be traced back to World War I. So some of the things are not really, really clear. And the biggest issue for me here is the violation of the rule of law. If you look at how this process is going, there's no transparency. And principles of public service, Article 232 requires that these people involve the people. Even Article 201, involvement of people in matters finance, is critical. And that's violation. And after Adani, we need to go directly head on to the people who are steering this, because they are public officers. They are bound by Article 201 and 232. They have violated those. That is gross misconduct of our Constitution. Then they need to be probed as well for gross violation of our
to
Constitution.
DM me as well. So I would like to share the petition with you. So I need your comments on it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I'll do that. I'll DM you and so that we can work on. But that, as I learned, this entire deal is nothing. It brings no good to Kenyans, and some of the things I've just mentioned are just lightly.
No,
I know most
they're
of you. I know most probably all of you.
They are very heavy because we still have a window until the 8th of November for reply. We are still now looking at the responses. So if you DM me, you'll play an important role, in particularly on the issue of public participation and the lack of parliamentary approval.
Thank you. I will do that. So as I learned, that is all I have to say. I don't think we really need this deal. And if it is just a matter of a terminal and a runway, I mean, the terminal and the runway, these are very, very critical. These are value addition to our airport, and they can attract multilateral lending just in that. I mean, you've seen the president get a whopping 300 billion, and we're talking about Adani investing 248 billion for a 30-year project. That is absurd. Also, you've heard before that we are losing about 2 billion a day in corruption. Yeah, so these things just beat logic, and they're not logical in our country right now. And
Wakili,
also the lack of competition.
I want to make one thing clear. So because I can see you understand everything, we must sanction Adani in the courts. That's what we did with Patni, and that's what we did with the Chicken Gate. So this case, I'm telling you, we are 99% there. Are you understanding me? And in this case, the workers are a party. We've joined them in the petition. And the workers across Kenya in all the airports are part of our petition, as is the public. And all I need now is fresh eyeballs so that we don't make a mistake on the final documents of reply before the 8th of February, of November, so that then we have a complete petition. Then we shall apply for consolidation with the LSK matter, which has already got conservatory orders. Conservatory orders means Adani does not exist in the Jomo Kenya. I want to repeat to Kenyans, there is no deal between the government of Kenya and Adani as exists today, because there is conservatory orders. Conservatory orders are the most important instrument that courts have, because they are 360 degrees in nature. They act before, during, and they correct. In other words, it's as though Adani never came, is the status that is currently now, if we don't lose those conservatory orders. What I am saying, although we have the conservatory orders, we have a petition that will defeat Adani because of Nelson and Mweru and so many others, and many, many people from the government and the workers. The information that we have on JKIA is so compelling. Nelson, right now, as we speak, I've sent him the petition. He's reading it. He's so happy with it. So I would rather share with you the petition. You'll be more useful that way.
Thank you very much, Tony. Just as I land, I just also wish to tell you that I am not a wakili, but just that a responsible Kenyan who understands these things. So, but it is good that what you are doing, it is it is the right trajectory. And just lastly, it is a threat to our sovereignty, because we cannot give our title deed for JKIA to be used by a private institution to take loans against our assets. So that is against Article 238 of our internal and external threats to our sovereignty. So that's what I would say right now. Thank you very much for the mic.
Real deal, I have to give you your flowers, because you're part of the reason why I became obsessed with this Adani deal. I hopped onto a space where you and Wanyama were reading the deal page to page, a 24-hour space reading the deal for everybody. And I remember there's one speaker that came on and said, you know what, Kenyans, we can't even manage our own roads. So let the Indians take the airport. And you challenged that guy, and then you were so upset, and you challenged all of us, and you yelled at us, and you told us you need to read this bill and understand. And I was on vacation, and I didn't even step foot on the beach reading it. So I mean, you have to join, as much as you're not a lawyer, but we are admitting you to the bar. You need to join teams with Anthony and everybody, because you guys have quite a clear understanding of the deal, and you've studied the Constitution very well, and you studied all these bills that are just punitive, that they pass just to favor this kind of nonsense that they're trying to introduce to Kenya. So we really have to give people flowers. So you guys, Real Joe, you have to join.
Before you cut, you have a special message I've been sent by Ambassador George Masafu. Ambassador George Masafu was in charge of 4 countries in Africa: DRC, Congo, Brazzaville, and the Central African Republic. He served as a High Commissioner and Ambassador for Kenya. And he sent a message to tell you guys in this space that what we are doing, this public discussion, public information, is the way to defeat dictatorship. He's saying that, before the other spaces, people could not listen. Serious people could not listen because of the insults and so on. He says, this is the way we are reaching people in Kenya and abroad. And he's telling me, get Mweru and Anthony to become serious about developing a proper forum every Wednesday where we can talk qualitatively. Because he's saying, look, I'm a retired ambassador and I'm listening and I'm compelled. So TG, please pass my message. So Abari George, I have done so.
Thank you. We accept that. And I agree with him that this is the way to go. And I'm glad that we have that spirit of unity and fighting for our country, and everybody is willing to play their part. So as we proceed, Samaki, are you still here? All right. In the meantime,
I don't know if you can see my hand up just while we are waiting for the other speakers. Thank you.
Yeah, I see it. And you're after Josephine. So Josephine, and then your next African journey.
Thank you very much. And I want to appreciate the many people who are listening. Good evening, fellow Kenyans, and good afternoon and good morning, depending on your timeline. And I really appreciate to see how much we are committed to ensure that our country belongs to us. These are very good signs. And anything that is being said right now, I really appreciate, because actually it has portrayed a higher level of maturity as you listen, because now at least everybody is trying to see from the same point, and actually now we are focusing on the ball, which is very good for us. So fellow Kenyans, we really appreciate. Let's continue joining us up our hands, and anyone who has anything, I've just added several people. I have just DM'd several people trying to tell them also forward the documents to me. I also want to see some of the documents, and I also, if I give you a role also to pray, kindly just source that information which you have plus others, because there are several people who have talked about an information that they have, which I think we need all that information. So if there's anything you can do kindly in regarding the petitions and all the evidences, and you are knowledgeable about the matters, kindly. And also not only the matters, actually anything that has been happening in the country, take note that President Ruto is supposed to be a symbol of unity, and is supposed to protect the constitution, which he has been defiling day in, day out, and not actually adhering even to court orders. All these are petitions that we can bring up against him and ensure that he doesn't qualify even to be a president. He has failed to own up so many things. People are dying, he doesn't own up. Structures are falling upon people, he doesn't own up. There are so many things that he's not owning up, yet we are supposed to be looking up to him to protect us as a nation, but he is busy actually chasing on impeachments, forgetting the people who have elected him to work for them. So fellow Kenyans, one question that should always ring at the back of your mind is that, ask yourself, if he is going to hand over everything, including our parastatals, to private sectors, then what is his role for him now to collect taxes from us? Why should he collect taxes from us? And what is he going to do with our taxes if he's actually trying to sell out our country? Take note, Ruto, some years ago, before many of us had been born, actually we understand now he had owned a title deed of the stretch of State House Road as his personal property, which he used to take a loan in this country for almost around 600 million. Fellow Kenyans, maybe the same thing he's trying to do, to use our nation to take a loan without